Seiko, there you can see at the bottom, is his conquest with a shield phase that we're in. That's what that divine shield thing means there, is they protected it from being banned. So then from there, you ban one of each of the opposing classes. You play your best of 3 in conquest of that. So when you win with the deck, it's out. And as you can see, Warrior banned away from Seiko in this one, and that's going to be Paladin banned away from BoarControl, with Priest protected on both sides. So Priest Protect has taken over the world
completely
at this point. You are correct about the nuclear metaphor that you have. It's slowly taking over. But that leaves Shaman and Warrior as the differentials here, with BoarControl kind of having that lineup that, you know, one of the key decks being left out has changed the dynamic of every single matchup that we've been seeing so far, whether it's the Warrior that's been omit, like in Tice's lineup, or in Orange's lineup, or here with BoarControl in omitting the Shaman from his altogether. I've liked all of the alternatives that I've seen when players have deviated from just bringing the strongest decks.
Yeah, it's definitely added an extra dynamic. I think this Holy Wrath Paladin has ended up being a pretty strong kicker in terms of a fourth deck, really changing the matchups, changing the way things have to be banned, changing people thinking about their protect options as well. But still, it's had its question marks in terms of playstyle and execution from the players who had it. I think BoarControl is potentially very comfortable with the deck, and that's why we see it get banned out from the other side, from Seiko, leaving with BoarControl with these 3 decks that you see remaining on the screen right now.
Yeah, wanted to highlight the Weapons Project and the Whirlwind that are in BoarControl's deck. The Whirlwind I find really interesting because there are 2 things that are happening here. Number 1, he's doing something I absolutely love with his Warrior deck, 2 Plague of Wrath. Card is so monstrously powerful. We've seen it happen again and again. Why is it taking this long? 2 of them, I love that. He's also got the Double Weapons Project with the Harrison Jones. And I think the Weapons Project actually has a lot of synergy with that style of effect as well. Because if one of your goals is to enable Plague of Wrath as many times as you can, having a second Weapons Project so that you just have something to swing at something occasionally is a big deal.
Something else that's a big deal in this matchup is Evil Totem on turn 2, because it's normally incredibly difficult to contest. BoarControl now has a decision point to make about how important this totem is to bite the dust versus how important that Weapons Project Harrison Jones combination is later in the game.
Smells like Shield Slam to me, which is, you saw Boar mouse it over it. It's his first instinct.
What now?
I've honestly never really seen BoarControl play a lot of Control Warrior outside of tournament play.
It's not a very Boar style of deck, I will say that. He even says this in his interviews that we show sometimes, that he likes decks that get on board and have these tempo swing turns. That's what he's all about. So new Control Warrior has swung a little bit towards BoarControl's way of thinking with some of the bigger minions that it has, but generally Control Warrior not a BoarControl staple.
Yeah, and you know, I would say early on that I had some, I would say minor critiques at best about his Control Warrior play, but you know, just over even a couple matches, just a few weeks of his play, I feel like he has just done such a fantastic job of understanding how this deck operates and why it operates. Like, I'm calling it right now, BoarControl's build of Control Warrior is the future of Control Warrior.
Wow. Strong words.
2 Plague of Wrath.
I don't know.
Card is insane.
I don't know about 2 Plague of Wrath. Not sold. It's extremely powerful when it works, when you get it lined up with that Kaboom hero power. Outside of that, it can be sat in hand very, very dead in a lot of spots.
I didn't even think about the counter argument of Viper's Deathwing. They're both filling a similar role, though.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, just an extra board clear. Yeah.
Decks have just gotten so powerful that that's what it's come to. You need extra board clear.
Right.
2 Warpath, 2 Brawl, not enough. It's a tough matchup, though. And if there's someone I know that has played lackeys to perfection, it's been Seiko. I think these styles of games are his comfort zone.
We must stand together, united for Dalaran.
Really dramatic for just a 2-2.
I know. I was just kind of I was going to start talking. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let this fanfare rock. I'm feeling it right now.
Khadgar has joined us at the end of from the end of last game. He's like, dramatic entries everywhere.
Yeah.
I wonder. There is little time.
I was really wondering if he was going to bog slosh with the stealth.
Why?
Did 2-5.
Okay.
It's kind of that weird, awkward point. I think it's too tempting with the Khadgar in play. Just force Boar to deal with stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the Khadgar is always biting the dust this turn. Especially after you send out the signifier by sloshing back the lackey.
What now?
It's been one of the big things that's really missing for Seiko in this is a way to have your battle cries, triple up at times. That's one of the big benefits of Bog Slosher and Youthful Brewmaster and Quest Shaman is being able to triple up on a battle cry. It's like when you return an Evil Cable Rat or a card draw effect, you just get so much out of a pair of cards. Perfect for a matchup like this.
I must choose.
Your magic shall not save you.
Boar clearly not happy with his position.
I'm trying to think of a Boar face where he's ever been happy with his position. He's like, I'm not decimating my opponent and ending the game. This is such an inferior play to what I expect. I love how animated he is.
Yeah, it's great.
What to do?
Hey, a free Sandstorm Elemental.
No battle cry.
Nope.
I feel like Psycho's having to fight all of his instincts and blow up thing, go face.
I think he just is going to blow up the thing and go face.
Yeah. He doesn't have the generation to really do much else.
No.
Like, I think his game plan right now is pretty straightforward. Force utility out of 4. Try to buy some time and hope you find generation.
Yeah, no lackey draws, no lackey generators, and no card draw really so far for Seiko. He's just running a little bit dry, so I think they're in response to that, just trying to represent some pressure. Kind of makes some sense. But he is generating a board right into like coin triple warpath.
Brawl, Plague of Wrath, take your pick.
I picked the warpath.
I picked the Brawl.
Really?
The exact reasoning is that sometimes the 0-3 lives. Also, just doesn't make me use my coin.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree the coin is important. Like, there are 2 Mordens and other such cards in BoarControl's future, which might be important with that coin.
The sky dies.
Oh, no.
Your tale will end.
No! That's the wrong card!
Board doesn't really have a huge amount of leverage against it, though.
I'm thinking a 5-4 that draws a card, by the way, still has 6 mana.
Sure.
No! That's right! That's a draw! I'm so upset. If he just would have shield blocked first, everything would have been fine.
Wait, what? What happened?
If he shield blocks first, he draws the Weapons Project, and then he gets to Weapons Project, coin Harrison,
Oh, I
and draw
see.
3
Right,
cards.
sorry. I thought you were suggesting something that he actually should have done.
No, it's just,
Yeah.
why is everything lining up this way?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
What now?
And I don't want to give my opponent free mana, so I really want to shield slam.
Yeah, it's getting shield slams.
Boar's weighing the possibility of perhaps there's something there that's not valuable. Only 2 cards.
I must choose.
I do not want to give them the thing.
Takes the full board clip. Harrison puts 1 weapon in the museum, then the next one appears. You know, I actually curate a museum myself, Apple.
What do you specialize
It's
with?
called the Sottle Historic Institute of Technology. It's very important you use the full name. We decided not to go with the acronym.
Sottle Historical Institute of Technology. Okay.
Engaging TC.
I just feel like I'm being lied to
Mental
about that.
dislocate.
Of course it's the right way.
Like, I don't know, just something smells funny.
Yeah.
To clarify, spirits beyond that control the draws when casters say cards. I did not say Restless Mummy. I said something smells funny. Very different.
Yeah, I can understand the confusion, though. It does sound very similar.
Tomb can hold me.
This is getting close to the stranglehold on the game.
Tomb can hold me.
Sure is, and it's a huge win in the context of the series, because it's a big unfavorable for the Control Warrior that you're getting over the line in. Seiko right now is sat with a Shudderwock in hand that doesn't even give him a full hand refill as it stands at the moment.
Does it do anything? It faceless lackeys, it youthful brewmasters, it bog sloshers, it mind control techs, and it life drinkers.
So, while the literal answer is yes, it does some things, no, it doesn't do anything.
No, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's honestly kind of insane how underwhelming
I think
the
this is
Shudderwock is.
about the worst possible draw you can have as Shaman against Warrior. Like, it's in that neighborhood.
He drew the Questing Explorer literally right after he completed his quest.
Yeah.
Oh, why
Yeah,
not?
yeah, keep it going. Keep it going. Keep the punishment coming. We haven't had enough today yet.
Goodness gracious, this is ridiculous.
It just doesn't do
I
anything.
I seriously don't think you can play it.
It just doesn't do anything. How is your turn 9 mana pass and not Shudderwock? Like, how is that the world we live in?
Well, allow me to read you the battle cries again.
No, I understand.
Faceless lackey.
I understand. It was for dramatic effect.
What 10 drop could you even get? Like, let's just say you evolved.
Uh-huh.
What's the 10 cost minion? Colossus of the Moon. Ah, all right, we found it. There you go. Colossus of the Moon. He got the bat again.
It's Dragon.
Oh, no, it's even
It's
worse.
Dragonhawk. It's Dragonhawk.
That one literally does nothing.
Yeah, bat at least has some sort of effect in the matchup in some situations.
To the moon.
Portal is too small.
The opposite direction.
This whole board dies to Dynomatic plus weapon if BoarControl's feeling brave. Kind of feel like, why wouldn't you at this point?
I kind of feel like, why wouldn't I play Garath?
I think it's easier for Seiko to build big boards from this point than it is to deal a ton of damage. The life drinkers have gone and so is the Shudderwock. How does he deal damage?
It's kind of why I wanted the extra life.
Huh?
How's he going to deal the rest of the damage if I don't give him the opportunity?
Wait, what?
Life is a powerful resource. You're only up to 30 after the blast shield.
Sure.
Like, normally at this point when you're blast shielding and clearing boards, you're up way beyond this point. At 30, like, where on earth does Seiko find that much damage?
Yeah, all right.
Like, you still got 2 Warpass, Dynomatic, Dr. Boom online?
Fair enough.
You got a second Plague of Wrath in the deck somewhere.
What to do?
I'm used to holding on to that card for dear life because I've had one of them a lot.
Time for a little blood.
I guess it's just smoother. He gets to fit in the hero power this way. And he's preserving a warpath by doing it that way as well, which needs to be played. Yeah, alright, sure. I'm convinced.
Light the fuse.
It helps that the Dynomatic immediately gets enormous value in the turn right after. Also, by the way, Seiko drew Mogu Flesh Shape at the turn after he used his mutate. You just want to keep the hits on rolling.
All right, generate lackeys. Nope, I was thinking generate lackey into Witchy lackey into Octosari. That was my plan.
It's a good plan.
what to do.
BoarControl kind of flagging on resources as well. Kind of for good reason. His deck does omit both copies of Omega Assembly, so that is not a possible draw to refill his hand. And you're playing Spellbreaker, double Weapons Project, double Plague of Wrath. Gotta make room for stuff somehow.
I like how it's built.
This would be a good time for a master plan.
I'm not a fan of Zero Assemblies myself.
I wouldn't say I'm a fan of it, but kind of the way I look at it is that it's like control your decks have so much stuff on top of it, right? Like I feel like I want to do enough. Like what's the control warrior deck that just does enough? That's what I've been in pursuit of.
Sure.
A spot like this just feels weird. Like I don't want a warpath, I just played my thing.
Yeah,
would be a
the
good
mummy being
time
in
for a
play from
master
last turn does
plan.
kind of cost, but it's only really this Giggling Inventor that would make a board in one card that Boar would be interested in warpathing.
Yeah, it's like
I guess the one former champ as well, he would be thinking about 5-pathing this turn, but then having the Restless Mummy in play is good against that anyway.
No two can hold
So it is
me.
literally just this Giggling Inventor that makes that Restless Mummy look a little bit stupid. He's just played it, blown it up with his own card.
yeah. That's some good points though. I just wanted to start delivering pressure.
Yeah. What is happening? Why are we being tortured?
Why are we being to poor Seiko?
I mean, we as Hearthstone players.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Collective we.
Yes. The royal we.
I have just never seen so many passes with this deck. Like this is the
Yeah.
least amount of resources I've like ever seen with this deck.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Just a very strange game. Please don't do it.
Double 1-1 all day, every day.
Mental dislocator.
All right.
All right, it didn't do either of the things I didn't want it to do, which was take 2/1/1s or take both 2 Mordens.
Yeah.
Although both 2 Mordens are probably necessary if Psycho's gonna win this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm holding out hope because Quest Shaman is a deck that can just explode out of nowhere off one Novice Engineer, as we've been talking about before. But it's going to need to pop off really hard if it's going to be able to swing back in one turn. Worth noting, there is no Elysiana in BoarControl's deck. So he does actually have to win the game. That's a big difference. A very big difference.
I just realized that. Honestly, I think it's kind of smart. It's like it's there almost specifically for Control Warrior mirror matchups. That's probably just a matchup that Boar's not interested in playing. I mean, look how his Control Warrior's built.
Yeah.
He banned Control Warrior away from Psycho.
And it's going to be a likely ban against the field as well, because the likely protect across the field is the Priest, which means most of the time you're going to end up wanting to be banning Warrior anyway, so why not build your deck around that?
Ruin, despair, destruction.
Ethereal Lackey is going to have to bring the heat if Seiko is going to have any hope of a fatigue plan here, and I think a fatigue plan is about the only plan he does have. Okay.
From nothing, power.
Hex is a card. Lightning Storm is a card.
Is he actually clear here? Hex, Flesh Shaper, Lightning Storm. So if he gets the right rolls in the Lightning Storm.
I think you want to weaponize Wasp this turn, though, while you have the Lackey. It's scary.
I do want to remind you that he has 2 Sludge Slurpers and 2 Evil Cable Rats still in his 11-card deck.
You make a good point. You make a good point.
You know that's happening. Yeah, I don't know. I'm torn, actually. It's kind of tough. It's like the difference in taking extra damage
Little time.
or in trying to do like anything that really brings some heat.
Yeah, I like the Wasp here.
The Mogus, to me, don't line up well because you're staring down the Kaboom right now, and you're also staring down a bunch of 1/1s. So you just take the damage and then hope you recover. Or do you just sack the Mogus? Call it a day. Wow. Oh, that's brutal. And now you might never get that chance again.
Celiac's coming down. What range does Boar want to play around here from that one spell?
Unity.
In different positionings, but giving account to the Earthquake, the Lightning Storm.
Job's done.
Finally, the Novice Engineer.
I hope you like my invention.
And here come the lackeys.
I hate
No,
your invention.
not even.
I hate
Not
your
even.
invention. Where's it been? I needed it like 17 turns ago. Landslide in game 1.
Horrible, horrible draw from Seiko's side. Adorable cat from BoarControl side.
Something lighthearted.
I know. We actually do all need that
happened.
right about now.
It happened.
Can we just stay? Can we just stay on the cat for a bit longer, please? Please, we all need it. Oh,
I get why people retweet animals all the time now.
cats are awesome. They're just the best.
I'm just super allergic to them.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
My face blows up when I'm around them. I'm like, it's so fluffy.
Oh, I remember because when we were in Bahamas, they had all those like wild cats around the resort, and I'm like a cat magnet. Like they just surround me. So Admirable was just constantly backing off me. I later realized it was just because he hates me. It was nothing to do with the cats.
Yeah,
you know.
that's true. But I am super allergic. Yeah. So we got to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to jump into game number 2 of this series. And this is Spectacular Sunday. So we have one more match after this 5th one for you. Stay tuned.
Darker than they've ever been. As evil descends from the skies, the world cries out, how will we survive? Out of the hall of explorers, and up from the dusty tombs, they grab their whips and fedoras. These legends of the past know exactly what to do. There might be magic monsters, mummies in the markets, and ancient mysticism. But this league's gonna save the world.
My name is Rafael Pelzer. I go by Bunny Hopper in Hearthstone. I've always been a competitive kid. There's like always a little bit more to the game, right? You get tired of just playing at a certain level and you always just want a little bit more. You hit legend, you hit high legend, you hit rank 1 and you're like, let's go to the next level. Yeah, it means a lot to me to be in the Grandmasters program because it feels really great to be recognized, especially last year was going really well for me. I think what I look forward to the most in Grandmasters is just have this weekly schedule of competition that every week you can iterate your lineup. Every week you have another match against another good player instead of having these dry periods where you don't play any matches, any best of 5s, best of 3s. So my personal goals is firstly do well in Grandmasters, and secondly is I'm still trying to find a good job in chemical industry.
Is there some sort of X factor that sets you apart from everyone else?
I mean, I have a doctor, haha.
My real name is Jaromír Vyskočil, my in-game name is Jarla, and I'm playing for Team Nordawind. When I got the email about that I'm in Grandmasters, I was really happy because I have been in competitive Hearthstone for 2 years and few months, and this is something special, competing against the best players in Europe. I like control decks, and I always play really slow. Some people can hate that I really often end up roping the turn. Sometimes I also overthink stuff, so it sometimes could affect my decision in the end. But yeah, I'm mostly slow and control player. My hobbies outside of Hearthstone, I enjoy running, I enjoy playing football or ice hockey with friends. My goal for Grandmasters is probably avoid relegation, but I would like to win as well.
Spectacular Sunday on Hearthstone Grandmasters, and spectacular it has been. 6 matches are lined up today, and we are amidst our 5th right now. BoarControl with a 1-0 lead over Seiko. I'm Nathan, that's Admirable Zamora. I'm joined by Simon Sato Welch.
Hi.
And we're moving into a Priest Mirror for game number 2.
We've had our fair share of them, and if you've been watching, then you know the drill by now. If you haven't, then it really does come down to the early game. You want to be going first. At secondary, you want to have an inner fire available for a big tempo swing early on. Failing any of that, you just want big health buffs to land on your minions to prevent that coming through from the other side. But the matchup is generally decided very, very early on. It's rare that a swing happens in the state of the game beyond like turn 5, turn 6. I believe we've only seen that once in Europe, and that was from Bunny Hopper earlier in the week. Other than that, what you see is what you get. Gets decided early.
And it is very tough early on. You have a lot of min-maxing to do, and you have to pay attention to every point of damage and every single point of health, and that requires picture-perfect play. It is, if you are into aggro decks with micro decisions, this is your deck. If you are into not that sort of thing, buckle in.
If you're into winning, this is also your deck.
Ooh.
Is someone injured?
Yeah, it's good.
Cleric fights Cleric. Circle on the side of Seiko, which was fantastic for him until that Cleric appeared for BoarControl, but then all of a sudden it became a potential liability, but now the silence picked up as well.
So with Coin and with Wild Pyromancer and with Silence and with Circle Healing, you got some thinking to do. The first 2 turns are shorter as well. Turn timer's not as long.
Yeah.
You got to start your planning.
I mentioned this earlier, but personally I'm of the belief that Coin Pyro isn't the line against a Cleric start in this situation. People might come and correct me on that, but in my experience it is like just logically by the numbers as well, it just doesn't feel like it works out very often if you go down that. I think Seiko just kind of has a fairly significantly superior play available to him with that Cleric silence. That inner fire is pretty huge though. May I suggest a 5-5, Mr. Control? To Mr. and Mrs. Control, a son, Boar.
I wonder.
God, y'all are weird. That's not you and Boar, that's British people. Yeah, I said it.
Hey, I got you, friend.
Say everything so beautifully. Even when it's malarkey.
Oh, especially when it's malarkey.
It's my favorite kind of sody. I always have questions about Cleric. This is why I can't play this deck, is because of the mirror matches. I get so greedy, and all I visualize is drawing like 26 cards, and I'm like, oh yeah. Like, I feel like I'd rather just draw 20 cards and win the game sometimes.
Right.
That's just not the game plan here.
It's not.
Quickly.
You can see what a drastic difference playing and holding that Cleric meant for Seiko, though.
Yeah, the problem is if you don't play minions, the same thing just kind of happens, and you're behind anyway, whereas you have the upside of this not happening if you play the Cleric and suddenly you're in control of the matchup.
If this happened, you'd still have the Silence and the Cleric in hand, right?
Oh, okay. So you weren't... Okay, I can get behind Pass, kind of, as weird as that seems. But, like, silence the opposing Cleric, not play your Cleric. Like, that's a huge whiff at that point. But if you want to hold on to both, that we can talk about.
Yeah, why wouldn't you hold both?
It's just not what I thought you meant.
Yeah, because I wanted to combine the Northshire, the Pyro, the Circle, the Silence, all in the same turn.
Sure.
The problem is the runaway with the games, right? It gives your opponent a clean opening to play Neverset Ritualist.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Injured Tolvir.
Injured Tolvir, yes. Yep. Then without having the proactive development, if you're not containing the board, gives clear openings for Injured Blade Master.
Right.
Don't really want to circle that one, or the previous one that I mentioned. So there's a lot of... With every single decision in this deck, there are tons of pros and tons of cons.
There are, yeah. And it's why I always talk about, like, Circle of Healing is a blessing and a liability in the Priest Mirror. Like, you can use it to great effect. It's one of the strongest cards in the deck on your side of the board, but certain things on your opposing side of the board, Blade Masters, Tolvirs, Northshire Cleric, Light Warden, just make that card dead in your hand. So I think formulating a game plan that revolves around, you know, using a Circle of Healing to your benefit is always going to be a risky one.
I think Boar's about to have the runaway.
Positioning was important on the previous turn to give him maximum options for his Neverset Ritualist here.
This is just a freight train at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Seiko's face is telling you that. A non-game one for him. And in this game, just... Boar's got the goods. It's decided early on sometimes. You take a line, you take the risk. You get about one.
Seiko's going to hunt, search, and scan, trying to find himself a way out of this over a couple of turns. I'm not sure I see the line. In fact, I am sure. I don't see the line. The line doesn't exist.
Take that much. Go.
Hey, I got you, friend.
Super dead.
You have bet.
4 AoE with the Pyro, not going to be good enough. Just thinking about whether maybe Boar should have spread 7 health across more minions there, just in case it was just the ultimate Pyro hand, but it was super unlikely to have made a difference whatsoever.
Got beat.
Yep.
The only difference he could have made was holding the Cleric, which holding the Cleric has multiple other complications to it. Means Boar doesn't use the Inner Fire early on. Means that if an injured Tolvir or if an injured Blade Master comes down, you are now facing down your draw and clear turn, buffing your opponent's side of the board, which makes you vulnerable. You get extra cards, but you take extra damage in the meantime, and you give your opponent flexibility in board development. Pros and cons to both sides. It's tough to balance, and I don't think anyone has enough reps under their belt to say one way or the other is better right now. Maybe Seiko. I still like the Northshire Cleric. That's what I would have done. But you can see the risk that goes with it.
Yeah, I think the point I want to reiterate there as well is that any kind of long-term game plan that involves like, oh, I'm going to get sick value out of this Circle of Healing. Like, it's so dangerous against a Priest because they can disrupt Circle of Healing in the mirror way, way better than any other class can. So I think...
An Acolyte of Pain comes down.
Acolyte of Pain, yeah, anything, any of the injured minions, and like Light Warden, Nausea Cleric, like anything that comes down, Circle of Healing gets you into trouble. Acolyte of Pain plays around the Pyromancer. Like there's all kinds of madness that can go along with trying to formulate that game plan. I think that the repetitions have shown that just Cleric on one. It's just how you play the matchup. That's the nuts. That's how you go from there.
Boar's ready for an interview. Boar, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Indeed I can. Big win for you here to start setting yourself to get in position to get ahead in this field. Do you have any questions about the matchups or the games that we saw? That's usually the question I pitch, but my goodness, like those are just... I mean, what can I say?
It was a hell of a priest mirror, wasn't it?
Yeah, talk to me about some of the highlights of the standout moments, some of the tough decisions you had in the matchup. Let's talk about your warrior build, though, because I do like your ban and pick phase of what's going on, of banning out opposing control warriors and then having that super anti-aggro one. How did you come up with that lineup?
Well, the warrior mainly designed that because you can not play a deck in this format. You can bring a deck that has like quite polarized matchups, and it's a bit odd. So I had the warrior, and I knew I was playing Pheno and Seiko, and they both like OTK Paladin. I was pretty certain Pheno would play it. So the idea was this was a Snipe Priest and OTK Paladin, and that happened against Pheno. I just never ended up queuing it. It just didn't pan out like that. And against them, my plan wasn't to queue it, but then the way the pick bans worked, I almost kind of YOLO'd it here into hoping he picked Priest, because I said the warrior was trash in my previous interview. I have always been picking Priest predictably, so I was trying to mix things up so I'm not so predictable in like future weeks as well. So I YOLO'd the warrior. I thought it was very unlikely to beat the Shaman, but then nothing happened that game. I have to build like one big mech normally to win when I was practicing, and that's just hard to do because normally you're just behind on board, right? But then sometimes the Shaman deck just does that, and warrior just wins. Yeah.
Did you ever have a concern playing that matchup that he might ever be able to fatigue you? Because we looked down.
He always fatigues me. Yeah.
We looked down at one point and we're like, oh, there's no Elysiana in this deck, right? Like Boar actually has to win the game, and like
I have to make a big mech and kill him. Yeah.
Right. Fair enough. I have to ask you. Obviously, I don't know if you watched what happened earlier with Pheno, but obviously he's a teammate of yours, a good friend. Like he was essentially pushing lethal and roped out because of client animation issues, I guess. We just had a very emotional moment on stream. But if you didn't watch it, I was just going to ask you whether, as a teammate, you had any thoughts on it. But I'm sure you will break it down later with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's always sad to see when people rope out on stream. It's tough. The animations get to you, especially when you're playing Priest. I've done it countless times on stream with Priest, where you're like, what am I doing? What am I doing? You do the trade, you do Circle of Healing, and then suddenly it's like, draw one. And you're like, come on, with the cards. And sometimes, they just don't get there in time.
You have any questions for us?
Not really. I do have a. We're doing the call outs this week, right? Where we call out people, right?
Oh hell yeah!
Let's set the trend. Let's go. Yes.
Okay, so this person has been winning way too much in GM all the time. There's a problem with it. It's the card. It's way too good. It's Northshire Cleric. It's not actually a person. Maybe if this card was like, it says, is someone injured when it comes into play? But I'm playing it on turn 1. Of course no one's injured. Like, it's a really stupid question that it always asks. I've heard the line far too many times. Maybe if it was like 5 or 6 mana, then someone would be injured when it came into play. And that might be like a good change, I was thinking.
It could be injured Northshire Cleric. It's a 1/3 that deals itself 3 damage when it enters play.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah. And if someone's injured, I'm injured. There you go. Someone would always be injured if it damages itself.
I like how Boar's presenting the argument for nerfing Nausea Cleric from a flavor perspective, just seeing if that one finally gets the job done.
I'm down for it.
It's a good plan of attack.
Of course, that would just change the battle line of the entry when nothing's injured, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or you could just not be paying attention either. Someone injured? No? All right.
Yeah, just the card just has no text then if no one's injured.
So let's talk about some of the stuff that you got coming up as well. I know you're doing some casting soon if you want to plug that stuff like you should be doing.
Yes. So coming up is the Battle Rift Finals. This was a tournament that took numerous months to qualify for. So like players had to go into a ladder system. We know ladders are relevant nowadays, but this was a different third-party ladder system that they had to qualify for, playing Specialist. And the players have qualified. There's 16 players there. There's $20,000 on the line, and then as well there's qualification spots for Bucharest. All these players, you won't recognize them from the GM scene. Lots of the GMs didn't play in that. They were instead focusing on GM, I guess. These are all the grinders who weren't rewarded so much by the current system but can be rewarded by this. So I'd advise tuning in, supporting these third-party events. If you're a semi-pro player and you want to see more third-party events, supporting this one would be great.
Where can everyone find that at?
Yeah, so it'll be twitch.tv/take TV. Just check out my Twitter as well. The dates will be I think it's the 18th and 19th is when it happens of September.
Well, Boar, I'm love that you're pushing it. I love to hear about it. I want more community support to be there as well. But I also want to see you keep winning because I love talking to you here on these interviews. Boar, thank you very much for your time. I'm looking forward to seeing you play next week.
All right, thank you. Have a good cast, guys.